Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're looking at a really fascinating, highly targeted strategic briefing. It outlines an urgent, practical blueprint to radically restructure the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We are talking about a country the size of Western Europe, sitting on literally trillions in mineral wealth. The main goal here? A massive systemic shift. We need to move the DRC from a state of pure extraction to one of genuine, sustainable production.
So that brings us face to face with a pretty stark paradox. Think about it. How does a nation that literally fuels the global tech revolution, supplying the cobalt for our EVs and smartphones, how does it remain so completely trapped in systemic poverty? How do we actually rewrite the economic DNA of a place where external demand has historically overridden internal development?
Well, that question leads us right to this sobering reality. The wealth generated by the earth completely bypasses the citizens living right on top of it. In a deeply fragmented system of elite capture, you've got political insiders, armed groups, and foreign mega companies all fiercely competing to extract value. Basically, the wealth gets completely bottlenecked at the top, and it rarely, if ever, actually flows down to the people.
To break that bottleneck, this blueprint is built around 6 crucial pillars: the resource wealth trap, the sovereign levers plan, a new fiscal architecture, a Swiss-style executive, streamlining the legislature, and finally, a roadmap for survival.
Section 1. The resource wealth trap. Let's start by establishing exactly why traditional top-down structures just completely fail to deliver inclusive development.
In a resource-based system, a government pulls its billions directly from the ground. It literally bypasses the citizen entirely. Because the state doesn't rely on taxpayers, that absolutely vital link of accountability is severed. Political survival just becomes about securing power and handing out resource wealth to a tight inner circle. That's exactly why you might see explosive, highly visible growth, like massive stadiums, luxury airports, big prestige megaprojects, but right next door, incredibly fragile rural healthcare systems. As the saying goes, visible growth absolutely does not equal inclusive development.
Moving on to Section 2, the sovereign levers blueprint. This is where we introduce the proposed solution, a massive institutional redesign meant to just completely shatter that elite capture.
Enter the sovereign levers model. Think of this like a giant mechanical lever that we absolutely have to pull to build an institutional architecture that actually serves its citizens. It comes down to recognizing that every major challenge is, at its core, a control deficit. We have to shift control over local economic life back to the community foundation, separating it completely from the crazy volatility of national resource rents.
The really crucial point here is a strict functional split. Under this new constitutional redesign, the national government in Kinshasa handles the big levers of macro sovereignty, so national defense, foreign affairs, and currency. Meanwhile, local governments take exclusive micro-sovereignty control over daily life. We're talking primary education, health clinics, and local infrastructure.
Okay, Section 3, a new fiscal architecture. Let's look at how this power split is actually funded, because, let's be real, true decentralization requires actual financial independence. The plan mandates a strict income tax split. 60% goes to the national government and 40% to the provinces. But here is the real game changer. It legally enforces retention at source. This strictly forbids the central government from vacuuming up that 40% share first. Provinces keep their money locked in local bank accounts before a single cent ever reaches the capital.
And just look at how the funds flow here. The national government runs on mining rents, while local governments run on productive taxes. This brilliantly guarantees that even if global mining prices completely crash, local schools and health clinics remain fully funded. They're totally insulated by their own distinct, localized tax base.
Under this blueprint, Kinshasa retains 100% of the mining rents and royalties. However, to stop elite capture in its tracks, there is a strict legal mandate. Exactly 70% of those royalties is exclusively earmarked for a national defense fund. This is absolutely crucial to secure the country, especially the eastern regions. Furthermore, local decentralized territorial entities, or ETDs like cities and chiefdoms, are constitutionalized as the exclusive collectors of property and market taxes. By moving to an analog, area-based property tax model, local governments gain the immediate financial infrastructure to fund their own development. It directly reestablishes that vital bond of accountability between the citizen and the state.
Section 4. The Swiss-style executive. Turning to executive reform, we really have to tackle the presidency. In a resource-rich state, a single presidency acts as the ultimate prize, and that inevitably triggers endless conflict.
To solve this, the blueprint proposes something radical. Abolish the single presidency entirely. Just get rid of it. Instead, replace it with a 7-member Supreme Federal Council that acts collectively as the head of state.
So how does this actually build true consensus? Well, these 7 members are elected by the National Assembly using a regional slate mandate, ensuring fair representation from the West, East, Center, South, and North. They serve a non-renewable 6-year term. And here is the kicker. The role of president rotates every 12 months among the members. Literally no single region or individual becomes the permanent face of the state.
By adopting the shared leadership model, you completely remove the winner-take-all dynamic. Think about it. Every region is essentially in power simultaneously. It transforms the executive branch from a bloody prize of conflict into a platform for national consensus. This drastically reduces the risk of ethnic division and electoral violence.
Section 5. Streamlining the legislature. Looking at the legislative branch, extreme streamlining is just a pragmatic necessity for state survival at this point.
The plan transitions the country to a unicameral system. The Senate is abolished entirely. The National Assembly is strictly capped at 250 seats, and provincial assemblies are reduced to a maximum of 15 members. By consolidating this legislative authority, the state saves hundreds of millions of dollars annually, and those funds are directly redirected right to the national army.
The real ingenuity here, though, is the accountability mechanism. By capping the budget for these assemblies based strictly on the previous year's tax revenue growth, you force legislators to actually care about the real economy. If local businesses don't grow, the assembly doesn't get a bigger budget. It aggressively incentivizes prioritizing the productive economy over corrupt rent-seeking.
And finally, Section 6, a roadmap for survival. Let's map out exactly how this theoretical redesign becomes a permanent reality on the ground.
Pragmatically, this transition unfolds in 4 phases. Phase 1 allows the current administration an interim mandate to manage national defense through 2026. Phase 2 hits in December 2028, with a legislative reset, electing the new streamlined assembly. In Phase 3, January 2029, this assembly elects the Federal Council, handing over executive authority to the collective body. And Phase 4 ensures the ongoing local retention of taxes.
This entire framework is ultimately a vital conflict safeguard. By formally protecting the local tax base right in the Constitution, you ensure that even if national elections are delayed due to conflict, local governments won't financially collapse. It allows the current administration to leave a true legacy of stability and power sharing for the sake of peace.
We leave you with this final thought. True progress is built from the bottom up. It's never imposed from the top down. Until control and resources permanently shift to the people closest to the problem, development is always going to remain incomplete. It's a heavy question, but one we all need to think about. Who truly holds the control over your economic future? Keep questioning the structure, and thank you for joining us for this explainer.